Good day and welcome. This is episode number 4 of the Fitness Podcast. And if you can't tell, I have been uploading a lot of shorts lately. And that's just because it's easier. I could pick up my phone, just press record. But this podcast is more to do with me relaying information about what I've been eating, how my progress is going, my struggles, my successes, and just everything overall. Now, I like to start by saying it's getting better. What this means is I am having more body strength. I am having more of an ability to stick to my goals, having more of an ability to stick to good eating habits and drinking habits, and it's coming hand in hand. And now I'm down to 70.6 kilograms. I'm not sure what tomorrow's going to be. You never know what the next day is going to be. My trick to the trade, which people tell you not to do, is I will weigh myself in the morning and I will weigh myself in the evening or afternoon after I have eaten and everything like that. The reason being is I will get a rough in between of what my weight is going to be the next day after the digestion process has happened. And it all comes hand in hand. And if I'm much higher than, that in between, then I've got some concerns that I need to concentrate on. So far, that's actually worked in my favor, doing exactly that. For example, last night I checked my weight; it was 71.1, and then it was 71.6 in the morning yesterday, and it was 71.1 in the evening. I don't know how, but I think there is an in-between point, like if I don't eat, say, midday, it would probably have been lower. I'm not too sure. And what your body really holds on to is gluttonous food, and that's the stuff that really gives you bloat. And that will be bread, pasta, rice, milk, cheese, probably. I don't know, iced coffee, so milk. All this stuff is bloating and lasting. And once you remove that from your diet, you will pretty much flush it all out in a certain way. And the so-called water weight or food weight will disappear. And then you'll sort of even out the a correct weight rather than be at like a bloat weight, which seems to happen with eating those, foods that are bloating. Now, for me, I never say never, because anything could happen. I could actually be higher number tomorrow. I could be 71. I don't know, but the last 2 days I've eaten it between 9 and 10 o'clock in the morning, which for me I know is a risky move because I could eat during the rest of the day. And you can tell it's windy. I don't know if you could hear that on the microphone, but it is now transitioning into hot, dry, summery wind, and that's a key indicator that there's a bushfire around the corner. Anyway, that's not important to this. Just a bit windy at the moment. And I'm, depending on what tomorrow's weigh-in is going to be, I am contemplating just removing cardio a little bit of the time, and only concentrating on muscle exercises, and maybe going to the park with children and running around there, as opposed to going for really long hikes. And that depends on my calorie intake. Now, today's calories, which I didn't count, but I am very roughly aware of what they were. I had 2 small-sized rolls. Each roll had 1 egg shared between it, raw, I mixed the raw egg in a bowl, and I took the top lid of the roll and dunked each lid in the raw egg, and the bottom half had peanut butter, and then I fried up some mushrooms and put that on top, and that had a bit of salt and pepper on that, and I put just a little bit of cheese on each one, and one had a little bit of barbecue sauce and the other one had nothing, and each had garden greens on top, and it was very bite-sized. And then I had 4 no sugar 65 calorie each yogurts. I believe they were what's that one, mango, two mangoes and 2 strawberry flavored, and I just take like some peanuts, throw it in, and then throw in a little bit of goji berries and a little bit of sultanas, mix it around, and each one I do that, so the calories get a little bit higher as I do that. And that's what that was. And I had so far 1 cup of coffee with milk, so the cup's about this big, but the milk is probably, I don't know, it could be 300 to 600 milliliters of milk, I don't know. Cup sizes are very, very confusing and very misleading, so you can't really guess the amount. But yeah, for 1 cup of coffee, and I took a Ninja cup, and I filled it up with ice, and then I cut 3 oranges and juiced them, and then poured the juice into that ice cup, and then blitzed that, and then I added 2 very ripened bananas in there. Well, 1.5, because part of it was rotten, so 1.5 bananas. Blitzed that, drank that, and other food. I think that might have been eating a bit of it. So I tried to have a little bit of, tiny bit of protein in there, I guess. I don't know, we'll see. And yesterday's was just like around 400 calories worth of yogurt. I'm trying to think of what brand we had. We had the same type, but it was the one with sugar in it, not the one with no sugar. So each one had like 130 something calories, like a little tiny container of thing, and I had I think 3 of those, and I got some muesli and mixed it in with a little bit of sultanas and goji berries. And I had 2 rolls with, they're like little mushrooms, but they're called champignons or whatever they are. They come in a tin, like these rubbery things. And I think that was all I ate. Maybe like a banana as well. Yeah, so I think that's why the calories were much lower yesterday. But the unfortunate thing is, and while I enjoyed myself, there's a service station that sells like a coffee like this big. It's called a Max, so it's above the large, I think. And God knows how many calories that had in it, but they didn't make it hot, so it was just like straight down the hatch. And I mean, yeah, that was a bit of gluttony there. But so my calories for the last 2 days have been relatively lower, and yesterday I did this much cardio, just a speck of cardio, and today this much cardio, so we'll see how we go for tomorrow. I am sweating a little bit because I've got a bright light on my face at the moment, and I am hopeful that I can do this without, it's getting hotter, so I'm hoping without going for a long hike. If I feel like a jog in the morning or the next day, I will go for a jog. I'm not going to deny myself, the basic existence of that. But I'm going to have to figure out a little bit more protein, I guess. But my main goal is to lose weight at the bare minimum, to get down to 69 kilograms, which is just around the corner. And if things don't go well, then I'm going to have to push the issue with cardio, because I find it easier to do cardio over reducing my calories. But the last 2 days I have been very good with my calorie intake. It's just a matter of pushing that to the third day, fourth day, fifth day, and then just continue on until I get to a goal weight. So 69 kilos is the next weight that I want to get to. And then the one after that will be around 64 kilograms. And so at the first weigh-in, the first goal that I'm truly trying to get to, I am going to try to ramp it up a little bit, try to do more weight training, but I'm really heavily into body weight exercises, and it's becoming easier. The only problem is that when I'm tired, it's a no-go zone for me. I can only do it when I feel confident and comfortable in doing that, and half the time it's hard. And I've taken videos and photos, and I feel like I look more bloated at a lower weight than I did earlier. But again, I've researched it, and apparently it's all about lighting. And wherever you are, it can make you look a certain way. But I do feel like I've had bloating foods, but it's getting harder and harder, and easier and easier at the same time. And again, I'm just slipping into these habits with a smooth motion. I haven't forced myself to get there. I try to make it as comfortable as I can. My whole weight loss journey from 106 kilograms down to the weight I am now was over a year. A long process, a long time. And the way I did it was I started 106, basically ate no food and one meal a day, got down to 100, waited a bit, got down to 95, waited a bit, 90, waited a bit, 85, waited a bit, 80, waited a bit, and then down to where I am now, which has taken time. So I might have had like a month or two off, and then continued back up and forced myself to go for long walks and reduce the calorie intake. And it's just incremental and slow, and that's what worked for me. And it's trained my brain and put me in a better mental state. So I do recommend taking your time with it. But if you can apply discipline fast, and you can stick to that discipline after the 3 months of weight loss, like I've done in the past, without putting it back on, then I think that's a brilliant idea. But if you can't do that, and that went in like a breeze, okay, but I'm still thinking about the donuts I ate 3 months ago, it's just going to be harder for you. But some people can do it. I just couldn't back when I first lost weight. And I wasn't in a dramatic, scale. I was at 100 kilograms the first time I started losing weight. And then I got down to 73 kilograms back then. What I am now is the lowest I've ever been in 13 years. Nearly 13 years, really. So it's been a struggle, and this is just due to, being in a relationship and being like cohabitating with someone else. It has its issues, like relationships where, one drags the other one down, or you both don't want to be equal in something. It only works when you're both ready to take that step and work together. which is finally what's happened. And we've both lost our weight. So, yeah, it's been a hard, long journey. And I recommend it if you can do that with your partner. It can have its negatives, but it can also have its positives. And sometimes it can really be upside down hell in other people's lives, where one person notices that they themselves looks fantastic and they're getting attention, and then they decide that they no longer want to be with the other person. But that's a bit of a negative. We don't need to go there. And so into the future, so I'm going to remain steady and continue as I am. I'm trying to push through horrible weather patterns. I'm trying to push through pockets of depression. I'm trying to push through just so many things because I'm not always at peak. A lot of the time I'm really tired, and a lot of the time it's because technology, staring at phones, and it has a negative impact on your life. So I am realistically going for ab status just once in my life, but if I don't get there, that's fine. Just more or less looking to get rid of the body fat, where it doesn't need to be naturally at a comfortable level, so I can sleep better, and it becomes easier and easier to lift my body weight, and easier to feel happier and just regulate my emotions. And yeah, it's a bit hard. And the other thing too is sometimes you really can't control how you feel when you want to eat something or do something out of nowhere, out of left field. Like the other day, I was just really hungry for rice. I tried to control it, but I ended up eating it. And like some people will say, oh, that's not a bad thing. But the thing is, I had already eaten, my calories at the start of the days, and then by the end of the night, I'm eating something that wasn't introduced at the start, and next minute I'm actually having bad dreams and just not sleeping properly, because it's not a good thing. So looking forward, I don't know. I'm going to continue in the same fashion and pattern, repetitive cycle every day. I like to switch it up every now and then just to keep it interesting and to not be so boring all the time. But I know that the lower in weight I'm getting and the goal I want to achieve, I have to limit the calories to a certain amount to actually get somewhere in life. And I'm actually working up a sweat because this light is absolutely bright, unnatural, and killing my soul. But I like to keep it around the 20-minute mark. And something happened yesterday which really bothered me a lot. So I usually go and buy organic certified bananas. Well, I think they're certified, but anyway, it doesn't matter. I looked at the price tag, $5.90, at least I thought it was $5.90 per kilogram. Went to the counter, $6.50 a kilogram it registered at. I told them, I went and checked. They said, nah, there's a ticket there for $6.50. And then they're like, are you happy with that? And I'm just like, I guess. Like, what am I supposed to do about that? And she was very specific about the tag and what it looked like, which I really don't believe what she's saying, because I've called them out before many times and they've checked and I've been right every time. But the way it happened was like they haven't removed that tag yet. Now, it's a trick by the user, like you could go in and just con the price, but it's not really fair that you're ripping a customer off, 60 cents a kilogram, which turns out to be a lot that you would save if you actually, did that. But I left the shop and then I saw the person in the produce aisle look at me as if they're just like, sucked in. I changed the tag to the Wednesday tag. It's pretty frustrating because a short minute ago it was $6 a kilogram. So it was laughable for it to go down to $5.90 after $6.50, which they've jacked it up again. I mean, and the reason I pulled them up on it too is because they were weighing a stack of bananas which looked the same as another stack of bananas, which I know they weigh differently, or lesser of or more of, and half the price or double, or I was just like, what is going on? You're weighing this and this and this, and then they're equaling different weights and different calculations. And that's something that really frustrates me. And no doubt in my mind that when you're in the produce aisle, you weigh something, it's going to be different to what's at the counter or the self-checkout. There's got to be a slight difference. And that difference makes them profit. A lot of profit. And on top of that, within a day or two, I get a couple of bananas that are just rotten to the core. And I'm just throwing them in the compost, throwing them in. I reckon I've spent a lot on those rotten bananas that I don't get my money back for. And the rot is just really odd sometimes. It's really rubbery and black in the middle, but it's perfect on the outside. Or it's soft and squishy and just weird. But they all come from the same bundle where everything is slightly different. And you might say, well, you're not keeping them well in your house. Well, that's not the case, because I have different types of bananas. I have some from Woolworths. I have some from Coles. Some from the day before from Coles, from the day after Coles puts more out. I mean, come on now. But with that, keep positive and keep pushing on, and you will achieve your goals just like I did. And never say never. Never say you couldn't make a mistake. Never say you couldn't go back to being who you were, but always remain positive and know that you'll get there. Thanks for listening. Goodbye.